In this week's portion, Naso, which happens to be the longest portion of all in the entire Torah, we find, of course, a variety of topics, one of which is most difficult of all to accept as why it would even be in the Torah. In other words, we expect the Torah to contain the principles that would lead to the loftiest ideals that we can achieve in our lives. That the Torah should be teaching ways in which we can be a mamlechet kohanim and goy kadosh, a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. That all of us, not just the priestly caste, but all of us have within us the potential to be as good people as possible. And so when we come across a law such as what is contained in this week's portion, Naso, in which a husband, upon just an inkling that he has that perhaps his wife has been unfaithful, that he is allowed to force her to go to the temple in Jerusalem to undergo an ordeal and to drink this unusual concoction in order to prove her innocence, we must ask the question, why? Why is this in the Torah? What are the higher ideals and moral principles at play that we can learn from this? And we must have no choice but to understand that our society has thankfully grown and evolved since the time of the Torah, so that this formula and this procedure is no longer part of our tradition. Even in the time of the rabbis, they say even when the temple was standing in the time of the rabbis, that this procedure was discontinued. Then obviously, we ask the question, what gave the rabbis the authority to do so? And that is the beauty of the rabbinic system, that they can say about laws in the Torah, such as this one, such as one that will come up in a few weeks about the rebellious child, that they can even say it never was and never will be. That they didn't say that about this particular sotah ritual, but they essentially said that this procedure no longer is at play in our lives. And so then, when we come across this section in the Torah, we must teach in that the Torah and the principle from the Torah that we are to maintain is not misogynistic, that rather we must understand that the Torah reflects the time and place for which it was given and taught, and at the same time the Torah recognizes that all cases are brought to the judges at the gates at their time, so that in every generation it's up to the rabbis to determine and to ensure that Jewish tradition evolves. When we read the case of the sotah, this is not something we are to maintain, but rather to remember for a time that was, and to glorify our egalitarian and progressive nature that Judaism is. Shabbat Shalom.